Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and a few weeks ago, we all witnessed Advanced Wars history as the mysterious, legendary player Voice of Akasha took his first loss in a tournament in a very long while. I believe it's been years since he was last defeated, and it was a pretty big deal because he was seen as this player that just could never lose. And whenever there is this like aura of mystery building up around a player, it always draws a lot of eyeballs. People get really invested in the matches. They're wondering if is today going to be the day when he gets beat. And that day was the day. Voice of Akasha was beaten by Rip, and it was an absolutely phenomenal match. And everyone was like, all right, see you again in 2 years, Voice of Akasha, you know, because he almost never plays. But lucky us, we actually get another Akasha match in the same month. Because it turns out he wasn't just in one tournament, he was in 2 tournaments at once. So this is from the Discord Cup, I believe. And here, he is going up against a very good friend of mine, a player I've known for a very long while, Operation Mechstorm. Yes, he is a moderator on the site, very friendly guy. He's in the Grandmaster Discord. I believe he was in Season 2 of the Grandmaster Live tournament. He's not known for live play, although I believe it's something he has been getting better at as of late. But this is one of those move planner guys. Mechstorm is one of those people who enjoy sitting around for like 600 hours in move planner, moving 1 infantry. Yeah, he's one of those guys. But that does mean he is damn strong. I mean, he is a 1500 MMR rated player. I believe he's like top 15 or top 20 on the site. So literally one of the best players in the world. And this is interesting because, you know, now that Akasha is kind of mortal, people saw him get defeated by Rip. There was a lot of comments getting thrown around that, you know, he's actually not that good, you know, like he was good, but now he's been surpassed. And some people say, yeah, he's like 1300, 1400 MMR player at best. I do believe that's selling Akasha a little bit short. I think his loss to Rip is more of a testament to how damn strong Rip is and not how weak Akasha is. So Rip is just, he's a bit of an anomaly as a player. He is literally one of the best players in the world at the moment. And it was a very impressive win. And Akasha still fought like hell. Like, it was no easy victory. So I'm curious to see how Akasha is playing now that he actually has a loss under his belt. I believe this match was played mostly at the same time. I don't remember if it finished before or after the other one, but I remember following them both at the same time. But yeah, Mechstorm. He has mech in his name. I almost never see him build mechs. I think it's a bit of a meme. I know he loves mechs, but mechs aren't very good and competitive. And they're particularly not very good on this map right here, which is a high funds map. It's called, what is it called again? I wrote it down right here. It's called Overworked Signs, right, yeah. Carrying on the tradition of making weird map names. Yeah, this is a wild map. It's another mixed base. You got 1 base here, 1 base here, 1 base here, and then 1. So a 3 base mixed base map with a lot of airports and harbors thrown in. And because it's high funds, that means you get 2,000 funds per property. So we're going to see income in like the 40 to 50,000 here, which means we're going to see a lot of high-tech units, a lot of bombers. We're going to see a lot of neo-tanks, maybe even mega-tanks. Could even see battleships and carriers. It's very likely because what's going to happen on this map is there's going to be an attack on the middle base. Black player here is going to capture the airport, send bombers and vehicles towards this 1 base right here, and orange player is going to do the same thing over here. And it's going to be a base race to get the base in the middle, which tends to be the case with mixed base high funds matches. And what you can do, though, is you can build battleships and carriers on your harbors to kind of help ward it off, and it becomes kind of like a stalling game where you try to delay the opponent from taking your base. Which is kind of how the last match went when Voice of Akasha played against Rip. That was also like a base race match, which tends to be the case. And the CO matchup today, it's not a very exciting one, but this does tend to happen when you do tier 4 mixed base, is that everyone just selects Adder, because he is the best mixed base CO in my humble opinion. Getting that extra movement for such a low cost is just too damn good when you have like 4 to 5 different fronts. Being able to switch between the 2 fronts with extra movement is so damn valuable. Which is why you see a lot of mixed base high funds matches just banning Adder. Of course, then you just end up with Cole instead, because Cole is just Adder minus, but I still think at least when Adder is banned, there is a small chance you might see some of the other COs, but on this particular map, yeah, it's Adder all the way, and I think 100% of the matches in this tournament was played with Adder Mirror. Of course, that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad match, but it does mean that the matchup itself may not be super exciting, but we are watching 2 of the best players in the world go up against each other, and that ladies and gentlemen, is always a treat. So without ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the match. We got Operation Maxstorm in the black trunks. I changed your color, Maxstorm. I'm sorry, I'm colorblind. I couldn't deal with your old one. And we got Voice of Akasha in his signature Amber Blaze orange color. The orange trunks. Maxstorm has to capture one of Akasha's cities on this side, because Akasha is... that's like the first turn advantage. So there we go. Captures that immediately. And the airport is within 1 movement tile. So that means that we're going to see bombers and battlecopters come out incredibly quickly. And yeah, it's going to be just... The capture battle is not... Or the capture phase is not going to last very long. Because again, in mixed base maps, it tends to be over really quickly. In fact, most games on this particular map don't tend to go on very long. Maxstorm preemptively building an anti-air, which I think is really smart. Because... Again, the airport is captured, there's gonna be bombers, and you want to build up a solid force of anti-air, because once the opponent charges you with bombers, you kind of need like 2 anti-air per bomber, because if you have equal numbers of anti-air bombers, then the bombers can just kill the anti-air. So you kind of need a bunch of them. So building them up early is definitely smart from Maxstorm right here. He definitely planned a lot for this map. I know he did. I know he did a lot of preparations. Maxstorm is a meticulous planner. He's not the kind of guy to just jump into a match without training. But I think the same can be said for Akasha. Just Akasha is a bit more mysterious. We don't often get his inner monologue. So, whereas I talked to Maxstorm a lot prior to this match, I was very curious. He obviously didn't reveal any tactics to me, but I was looking forward to this match for a very long time because I knew it was coming, and I really wanted to see if or how Maxstorm would stand up against Voice of Akasha. But yeah, both players just capturing their properties. Akasha rolling in with a little bit of a tank on the lower right here. Moves over with the battlecopter and 2 battlecopters out of Voice of Akasha. So he's going to build up some battlecopters and then probably start producing bombers once that income goes a little higher up. Operation Maxstorm starting off with a battlecopter of his own. And again, he just has to play pure defense down here. Because... trust me, guys, aggression is going to start happening real fast on this map. But tons of harbors. Like, so many harbors on this map. Naval units can actually be used here. And I won't spoil it, but there's going to be some... a very funny moment later on in the match. where a harbor is used very creatively. So... okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm guessing Akasha's going to do a bit of a block here with the tank. There we go. So yeah. Kills the infantry and plonks the tank down so the anti-air can't get to them. So that's basically I guess that's what they call a free dude. Oh, I guess Maxstorm did get the city though, so it's not complete. I mean, he still got the income from it. So I guess it was worth it, probably. But yeah, Maxstorm doing the same thing, just capping the property, sending his battlecopter south. Builds a tank. Goes for the harbor. And starts sending his anti-air. So he wants to kind of link up the anti-air here because he knows that Akasha's gonna like harass him with air units. So you want to try and get his anti-air down here as quickly as possible. Builds an artillery up in the top right. Interesting choice. It's gonna take a long while for that artillery to get anywhere. I mean, it is a pretty narrow landmass here, so I can kind of see why the artillery would be decent, but... Maxstorm building a second anti-air. Again, it sucks to just have one base when you're on the defense because you really have to be so careful with the units that you send out or the units that you decide to deploy. Because again, like you're gonna get out-tempoed by your opponent. So every unit you build matters quite a lot. Akasha now going for the comm tower. I believe there is only 1 comm tower on this map. So yeah, 10% increased firepower. That is still a big deal though, because whenever Adder pops his powers, that means he has a 20% firepower increase, which allows him to wall break. I'd say that that definitely favors Adder in this match. Yes, I know they're both Adder, but I'm speaking like, you know, theoretically. I like Adder when there's 1 comm tower on the map, because you reach that 20% during your powers. Maxstorm building a black boat. So I believe what he intends to do with this black boat is to send it up here and ferry some infantry from this side over here, maybe. Or he's just going to use it to block. I actually don't know. But black boat's not terrible. Mech Storm now taking a bit of a free shot right here on the harbor, which means the infantry is not going to get repaired up. Mech Storm also going for his comm tower now, building another tank and another battlecopter. So both players just gearing up. We're on day 7. This is when... Oh, careful, Mech Storm. Don't get your battlecopter trapped. Of course, he's not going to make a mistake like that, but still something you got to be a little bit careful about when you move your battlecopter into a bunch of infantry. Be careful that they're not going to be able to surround you. Voice of Akasha circling around Mech Storm like a hyena. Just looking for vulnerabilities in his walls. First, Neotank enters the field here, so this is Voice of Akasha's, this is the sign that he's going to start his attack. Neotanks are fantastic on the offense with their movement and firepower. You need Neotanks really to be able to break through, because if you actually look at these locations here, they are actually quite defensible with these empty missile silos in the mountains and whatnot. So you actually need the firepower from the Neotank to be able to punch through some of these walls. But Mech Storm, of course, has the same idea. He opens up a bomber. So we see a bomber on day 8. Again, bombers are integral when you want to take down a base, because without a bomber, your opponent can just plunk down a mega tank, and there is very little you can do. Even with the bomber, the mega tank still takes many hits to go down. But if you have like 2 or 3, then there's no point. But a mega tank is almost impossible to dislodge with artillery once it's on a base. Artillery deals like 16% damage to it at base, so it's just not good. You have to kind of hope that you get lucky with luck damage. But yeah, so bombers, you need them. You need several bombers, really, if you want to go for a base race, especially in high funds. Otherwise, you're just gonna meet the mega tanks. So here, Mech Storm is sacking a battlecopter for an anti-air. So and Akasha gladly takes the trade. So this is, of course, a net loss for Akasha, because he has 1 base, Mech Storm has 2, or he has a base and an airport. So trading units 1 for 1 may not be in his interests. But Akasha decided that, you know, it's kind of like, if I were to compare it to something, it would be, you know, when you're playing chess and you're behind material, you really don't want to be trading pieces. And it's kind of the same principle here, because Akasha will only get a single unit out of the space, whereas Mech Storm will get 2 per turn. So trading 1 for 1 may not be that great. But maybe Akasha has a reason for why he thinks that's a favorable engagement. Otherwise, I don't think he would have taken it. It earns him a bit of tempo, maybe. Akasha now building a bomber, so we can see how this match is going to play out here. There's going to be base races on both sides. So this really comes down to who can base race the best. Who has the best plan of attack, who has the best defense against the enemy's attack, who is going to be able to take over and block that base before the other player. And as we saw with Akasha in his last match, he ended up losing because Rip took down his base quicker than him. So here we go. Mech Storm taking out the anti-air and getting ready for his attack right now. Builds a battlecopter and a Neotank. So yeah, this is... the big guns are coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The big guns are coming out. He builds a little bit... Oh! Oh, Mech Storm builds the mech! Mech Storm builds the mech. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Can't be Operation Mech Storm without building a few mechs, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you guys realize just how much he's flexing on Akasha with this move. I mean, it could be that he simply wants to spend his money elsewhere. And it's not like, I mean, the mech in a mountain is not terrible, but this is a bit of a flex, I think, because you really want powerful vehicles down here to defend. But who knows? I mean, he is Mech Storm, and mechs are his trademark, so gotta see some mechs. But here, Akasha just preparing his wall. Akasha has very few units here in general. He definitely needs to build some more, I think, now. Builds another anti-air. And now he is slowly moving forward with the Neotank and the anti-air. Coming in with his other tanks as well as the bomber. And this is where it's gonna get scary. Another bomber comes out from Voice of Akasha right here. The match is about to get hectic, ladies and gentlemen. Mech Storm says, "Nuh-uh, you're not getting that building." He actually attacks. So, ooh, okay. And he pops Side Slip, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what he decides to do. He comes in with the tank. He decides to go on the offense and defense at the same time. Does not attack though. So here, I think what Mechstorm is doing, and it's an amazing wall right here. He's basically protected his bomber with the defense that he gets from his power and this wall right here. There isn't really any way that Akasha can break through and target the bomber. So this is solid. This is really solid from Mechstorm. So he sees an opportunity and he goes for it. The question is Voice of Akasha going to punish it? Fighter comes out. So the fighter should be able to deal with the battlecopters, and Mechstorm knows he's going to get a pounding here. I mean, like, all of his units are split out. Akasha's going to murder all of these guys, but he may just have earned himself a slight initiative advantage. We'll see. It's kind of nice though. The extra movement also means that he's able to capture 2 cities and move down with these other units right here. Even using the black boat to boost, which is pretty nice. So it's a good attack from Mechstorm. You know, he goes forward, he interrupts a few caps, gets enough power, uses the side slip to attack on his strong side. Let's see what Akasha is able to do. In comes the Anti-Air. Battlecopter. Kills the tank. Another battlecopter comes in. Another tank. And as you can see, Mechstorm's wall holds up, but then Akasha does the mega big brain. The mega big brain. He builds a black boat. He builds a black boat, and look how good this black boat is. It completely blocks off the Neotank. When I saw this move, I was like, oh my god. I think Mechstorm just blundered, because how is he going to attack into this? I mean, he has a bomber, but this is actually genius from Akasha, using the black boat to block, quite literally. And here comes the attack on Akasha's strong side. And this is gonna hurt. He too decides to pop a mid-turn side slip, getting a bit of power charge first. And now he's actually moving his bomber north. So he takes out a tank, and he also positions the bomber right here so that the bomber can come to the defense. It's good that Mechstorm built a fighter. But looks like Akasha might actually try to defend his weak side base instead of just going for an even base trade. So good plays from both players here, but I really think that this black bot on the harbor was a giga brain move from Akasha because it's such a solid wall. I mean, Mechstorm doesn't want to use his bomber to kill it, and there's 3 healthy Anti-Airs. So if Mechstorm goes in with his bomber, he's gonna lose it. So now you can see Mechstorm's income closing in on 50k. He decides to take out this Anti-Air that comes from the south side. But he's not really able to pierce through here. He does it a little bit, but Akasha still has units here. So Mechstorm goes in for the attack, but he doesn't quite kill what he needs to kill. He pulls back with this Anti-Air here. He kind of has to, because Akasha has 2 bombers in the middle here. They're threatening both sides. Really beautiful to see. And Mechstorm busts out the battleship, ladies and gentlemen. He busts out the battleship. And this is not a meme build. I really don't think this is a meme build. What Mechstorm is doing here is he wants to use the battleship to lock down Akasha's base, which he can do very easily by just moving the battleship like this. And once he has the battleship, he can lock down the base. And I think one of the reasons why he's doing this is probably also because if Akasha does build a mega tank, he has some extra firepower to bring it down. Because he only has a 1/8 HP bomber here. But he sends in his fighter in anticipation of Akasha's incoming bomber right here. And day 11 rolls in, and look at that. Akasha has planned out his power meter perfectly. He has enough for a side slip. He doesn't pop it right away though. He gets what power charge he can first. Combines his tank to strengthen his wall, I think. Kills the black boat and blocks the harbor. So now Mechstorm cannot build a battleship or a carrier here anymore. He has to build it here, and it doesn't really work that way. So it's a very strong attack from Akasha. Doesn't pop his power though. He saves it for a rainy day. He figures he didn't really need it. But here comes the defense. He takes down a battlecopter. And it's a solid defense from Akasha. He's now way ahead of Mechstorm. And he builds a battleship of his own. So yeah, we are just seeing battleships in a Grandmaster level match, and I love it. So he says, okay, Mechstorm, you're gonna try and base lock me with a battleship? I'll just build a battleship of my own. And it's day 12, and it's looking real bad for Mechstorm, actually. His base is blocked, his harbor is blocked, and look at Akasha's defense. He's still standing strong. And now he has to attack into a battleship too, which is just not good. But Mechstorm has one last trump card to play, and it's the Sidewinder superpower. In comes the bomber. But he doesn't have enough firepower to lock down Akasha's base, which is a huge deal. He builds a submarine. Yeah, I think this is the submarine of shame, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is the submarine of shame. Because Mechstorm realizes that he's too far behind here. So, yeah, he whips out the submarine of shame. He's able to base lock, but I think Mechstorm realizes here that there is not really a good way he's going to be able to come back from this. So Akasha builds a second battleship. Just to rub it in, you know, he sees the submarine of shame and he builds the battleship of pride. And the submarine goes down. And yeah, this is pretty GG. There is really no way Mechstorm is going to be able to come back from this. Akasha knows this. Did he try to spell GG again? I don't think so. But yeah, Mechstorm decides to take a couple of defeat laps here. Actually pops another side slip. Takes a shot at the fighter. I think at this point he's just trying to equalize his unit value. Does go for the lab. He's not going to get it though. But but ladies and gentlemen, I believe no. Okay, I thought he was going to resign this turn, but I guess he keeps going for another one. I think at this point they're just having fun with each other. The moment that submarine came out, it was GG. That was there's really no coming back from that. But Akasha still, he's not treating this as a joke. He's still kind of bunching up his units and taking Mechstorm seriously, because you don't want to start joking around and maybe suddenly your opponent decides to, you know, get serious again. So yeah, Mechstorm builds a mech and resigns, ladies and gentlemen. So that is that. And looks like Voice of Akasha handily defeated a 1500 level player. So okay, really impressive showing from Akasha right here. He basically outplayed Mechstorm. So I think, again, I don't remember if this was before or after his defeat against Rip. I think it might have been slightly after. But I think it's fair to say Voice of Akasha is still a really damn strong player. And he was easily able to win against the 1500 MMR rated opponent here. So I do think that his defeat against Rip was either more of a fluke or just more of a testament to how good Rip is. I do still think that Akasha can take games against the best players in the world, as proven here against Mechstorm. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed this match. A bit shorter than the last one, but always a pleasure to cast Voice of Akasha on the channel. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more advanced content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.